Next speakers are Launch Housing. Okay, I'd like to introduce Juliana Tardochi and Nadine Howard from Launch Housing, who will be presenting on the Education Pathways Program, breaking the link between homelessness and educational disadvantage. Julie Tardochi is the Education Pathways Program Coordinator. She has a Master's in Social Work and has a passion for program development and somatic therapy. She served as the EPP Coordinator at Launch Housing for 2 of her 5 years at the organisation. And Nadine Howard is a Service Manager in Enhancing Families and Children at Launch Housing. Nadine has a background in play therapy and counselling. In her 10-year tenure at Launch Housing, she's managed teams and delivered numerous innovative programs, such as EPP, Australia's first long-term supported housing in this place. Thank you so much, Juliana and Nadine.
Thank you, Mandy, and hi everyone. Thank you. It's an absolute privilege to be here today and talk about the Education Pathways Programme. I'm just checking to see, Juliana, I'm not sure if I've got control to move through it.
Yeah, I have.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
So just a bit slower. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. So first of all, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land. And today I'm on Wurundjeri land, and to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land in which we meet today and pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. We recognise that homelessness among First Nations communities has been impacted by the ongoing effects of colonisation and dispossession of the land. Sovereignty was never ceded. This always was and always will be Aboriginal land. For those that don't know us, so Launch Housing, we are a not-for-profit organisation. So we have nearly 500 members of staff and we work across 14 different sites. So we provide housing through crisis, transitional and long-term properties, plus a multitude of programmes working with clients where many are children, youth and families. As you can all appreciate, there's many intersectionalities within homelessness. And this is where a lot of our programmes have main focus and where the Education Pathways Programme originally came from. So we know that homelessness comes in many forms, and we recognise that it's an experience and not an identity. Education Pathways Programme sits under the Enhancing Families and Children's portfolio, which within the Families and New Beginnings department. These 4 pillars within this department are enhancing families and children, specialist families and children, youth foyer development, and youth futures. And the main focus of the Enhancing Families and Children's portfolio is to work with children around their education, family violence, and long-term wraparound support.
Awesome. So I'll just jump in, talking about the impact of homelessness on education. On any given night, there are Australian children experiencing homelessness. According to the last census, over 17,000 children under the age of 12 were experiencing homelessness in Victoria, which is an 11% increase from 2016 census. Children may be spending the night sleeping on the streets, in temporary accommodation, couch surfing, or living in severely crowded dwellings. Family violence, as we all know, continues to be a driving cause of homelessness for children and women, followed by financial difficulties and housing crisis. Homelessness can be very disruptive to children education. A lot of children experiencing homelessness are not enrolled at school or have a decreased engagement in classroom. We see that they are unable to attend to the housing instability and other family challenges, like difficulty to transport if they are in emergency accommodation, or if you flee home without the documents, and navigating the educational system. We see that a lot of those kids have around 3 to 4 school changes in a really short period of time, which affects a lot of, which leads to a huge learning gap. We all know that trauma can challenge stress response systems that interfere with learning, reducing the cognitive capacity. When we are in flight response, children are not ready to learn. Continuity of school provides stability for children experiencing homelessness and can contribute to well-being later in life. We know that those children are especially a vulnerable population, and we can see a bit of our program data that aligns with Australian international research, showing that children with experiences of homelessness and family violence have a lower attendance, lower literacy and numeracy achievements, challenges in emotion regulation when comparing with students who do not experience homelessness. The evidence is very alarming, and children are more likely to have lifelong health, emotional, and behavioral problems than housed children. Homelessness during childhood is associated with leaving school early and higher levels of underemployment. Poor education outcomes, including negative experiences at school, are linked to increased contact with the youth justice system. So with that scenario, EPP come to the realization. We began 8 years ago as a tutoring program for children in crisis accommodation. We quickly realized that many children in emergency accommodation were not enrolled in education or had significant absences. Due to the moving around between houses and crisis accommodation, couch surfing, there was no very limited oversight over those children. So EPP, that's how we call it, Education Pathways Program, we call EPP, is the program goal is to break the link between homelessness and education's advantage. And how we do that is by having a multidisciplinary team focusing on early intervention, supporting kinder and primary school kids to re-engage in education and receive supports to thrive in and out of school. We have social workers, speech pathologists, and psychologists in the team, and we entirely philanthropic funded. We have been running now in 2 different locations in South Melbourne, focus on crisis accommodation clients, and Viv's Place in Dandenong, which is an Australian first initiative that provides supportive long-term housing. Nadine is going to be sharing more of that later today. With EPP, we have mainly 2 different approaches that we're going to explore later as well, but mainly we provide educational case management to address the learning gaps, and we also work with the partner schools. We have working with 50 schools to deliver some capacity building and support the children, to support the kids in the classroom who experience trauma. This is just a snapshot of the clients that we have seen since in our evaluation, and you can see there is an overrepresentation of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island children, families from culturally linguistically diverse backgrounds, and single parents household. We see again that family violence is a driving cause, and children who grow up in a disadvantaged household are more likely to be disadvantaged in adulthood, including higher rates of homelessness. So this is a bit of like how we do it, and that's the 3 main different focus: children, families, and educational providers. These slides show better how we work with children who mainly do short-term enrollments when they are in a crisis space until they don't have a long-term housing. There is often a worker who is focusing on the housing of the parents, so we can literally focus on the children and be that person that are with them navigating their own needs in that journey. Once they find long-term housing, we kind of follow support, and then we do the enrollment in the local school, and we link them with supports. We understand that school is not just the academic side of it, so we do focus on after-school activities and school holiday programs. And the big thing that we do as well, when we have one of the social workers in the team, they act almost like as a key worker in the care team meeting, connected all the supports, both for mom and for the children, and navigating when is the changes with where the housing is. So it's very centralized, and communication, we know in those type of crises are very important. So it's a very important role that they play. We also do referrals, both internally and externally. As I said, the speech pathologists focus a lot on language and speech assessments, and the psychology on cognitive and educational assessments. Those are both to support with NDIS or any other medical need that needs to be referred, but also to facilitate the work with schools, and supported them to have strategies in place that are designed specifically for that child. And we do also offer some material aids related to the education. We help the parents to apply for state fund relief, and then we can cover any other expenses related to school, uniforms, and anything that they need for extracurricular activities as well. So this is kind of what we do with the children and with the families. While, like, as we know, like the experience of homelessness usually bring a lot of other challenges with that, and we can help the parents to navigate it, the educational system as a priority, having someone that they can rely to focus on the children while everything else in their life has been very helpful, and I think they feel very hurted. And we come from a place of very much how we can contribute it of where you are at, no judgment, and providing some support around the impacts of family violence on development and how we can help at home as well. We do also refer to other supports and family services, parenting support, if that's what they want to. And lastly, we work with schools, kinders, and child care. We supported, I think we see ourselves as like a kind of a mediator between the families and the school. Often the relationship sometimes is not as we want it to be, so we can help them be a support person in the meetings and advocate for their voice, and supported with the documentations, gather information from previous school. There is a lot of we have a lot of clients who have moved overseas, so having that connection of setting up enrollment is not ever like a straight line. So we can be the ones chasing those papers, be the ones connecting with other supports to gather what we need to be done. And as I said, we do delivery capacity building. Over last year, we delivered 5 capacity building for different schools. And the aim of that is to raise awareness around homelessness and family violence, and how they can best support children who experience trauma. Next one. Cool. So our program evaluation demonstrated that EPP has a measurable impact on education outcomes for children experiencing homelessness. In the last 6 months, EPP has already supported 95 children, which 70% were not enrolled or attending school at first contact. Every single one of those children are enrolled in education now, and are improved their attendance rate for some degree. Our goal is to keep children at school while they're experiencing homelessness and beyond, and ensure that children aren't falling through service gaps due to their mobility. EPP is often the only program with oversight over school-age children experiencing homelessness, with only 10% of the children having contact with the homelessness system have child protection involvement. Not that they don't need it, but most of the case, because they are moving around so much, there is not enough eyes on those children because they are not at school. Being philanthropic funded means that EPP has no catchment area and no time constraint for support period. So we can be truly client focused and meet the clients where they are at. We can follow them through the journey of homelessness, being that supported person, developing the rapport they need. And then when they are settled, we can then connect them with the other community services in the area and build the relationship. So we can have this continuity that we know how important it is for people who experience trauma and advantages. And yep.
So Viv's Place, I'm not sure if some of you are aware of Viv's Place. It's an Australian first initiative, as Juliana said. So EPP works slightly differently at Viv's Place because it is long-term housing, so that when mums move in with their children, that basic need has been met. And also at Viv's Place, there's I kind of explaining like living above a community centre. So they have access to numerous services on site. For example, we have Good Shepherd who come in around financial counselling. We have City of Greater Dandenong who provide play groups. We have Mind Australia and Irma coming working with the women around their well-being. So a multitude of services that the women can access. So the children are then able to access the services such as Uniting Family Services, Education Pathways programs, and different groups that are provided as well. So it's a 60 apartment building, 24/7 staffed. So the staff there provide the safety and security and update on any incidents that might happen overnight. There's within their apartments is everything that they can need. But there's also a communal kitchen and living spaces downstairs. So a lovely space. You can see the photos here, and there are some extra spaces as well for outdoor and a beautiful area for the children to play, and even a little kind of cubby hole for the teenagers with playstations and bean bags. And then on top of that, there's also medical rooms and consultation rooms that many external services use to meet with clients, but also to run their services. And for example, medical services used for things like immunization or sexual health or anything that's needed. So it's about addressing the gaps. Obviously, with EPP on site, it's slightly different to working out of the original South Melbourne team, where it was focused mainly on crisis. So as I said, the basic needs are met. So we're really able to work with these children and these families around linking them in with the local school. Where we do provide things like a walk-in school bus, which Juliana can talk a little bit more about in the next slide. But we have, they're there, they're on site, they're linked in with school, they've got housing. So it's about making sure that they continue to attend school and working with the school around that capacity building as well.
Cool. So EPP, as Dr. Chelsea mentioned, we seek the children and clients in their own right, which in an adult focused service is a bit of like a change, but we can see the difference that makes for their own journey because they have their own experiences. We are committed to listen children and caregiver voice. We do run few groups from Rivers Place, Walking School Bus, Breakfast Club, and Homework Club. And all those groups are really truly their needs. Like we can see on the go what is needing, what is the topic, what will be like best suitable for them. The speech pathologist can see, I don't know, like 10 kids there, and then we can say, okay, we need to target literacy, so we can do exactly what it needs to fit their gap. And also we collected information from the children with feedback forms that have like smiley faces or sad faces and qualitative data to improve the service delivery. Last, we just have a little video that I hope is going to work, just to highlight a bit of how we do it, and it's very cute. Can you see that?
It's taking some time. There we go.
Cool.
Last year when I was 6, we had to leave our home in Bendigo and move to Melbourne. It was just me and Alistair and Mama. We were very sad. Our new house was strange. I didn't like it as much as our home in Bendigo, but it was better to be in Melbourne. And Mama said we would only stay there for a little while. Me and Addison were very bored at the new place. It wasn't much space to play. We didn't have any friends to visit, and Mama was very stressed. Mama is from Ethiopia, and sometimes people don't understand her, even when she's trying very hard to say the right words. Taking care of so many things, including us, was making her so tired. One day, a lady named Haley from Launch Housing came to visit us. I heard her talking to Mama about me and Addison and school. I really wanted to go to school, but Mama wasn't sure where to begin. She didn't know if school and kindy would take us, or if we had money to go. Then Haley met Mama again and said I could go to school. She organised my enrolment at a school right near us. Then Mama wouldn't have to worry. She also found a kindy for Addison. When my and Addison's first day, we were so excited. I got to wear a new uniform, and Haley stopped by with a school bag, pencils and books, and a special new drink bottle. I was ready. Sometimes I miss Mama and Addison, but school is very fun. I'm not bored anymore. I like my teacher and all my friends in class. Me and Addison going to school in kindy was a big help for Mama. She had more time to look for somewhere better for us to live. And one day after school, Mama said if she's found us the home we could live in forever. I love it here. Once we moved in, Haley helped us get used to our new community. It was a bit scary going to a new dentist, but I get to go to swimming lessons. And Mama has been meeting other parents with families like ours. I am 7 now, but I still love school. My teacher is proud of me, and my friends are so nice. We don't see Haley much, but Mama said we are okay without her help, and we can call her if we need anything. I'm really proud of my family, of Addison, and of course, Mama. All of the changes we went through were a bit scary, but with Haley and Launch Housing's help, we are doing much better.
What a wonderful way of finishing. It brought everything you were saying to absolute life. And I think everyone's just going, wow. Thank you so much. We've actually run out of time. I'm so sorry. And we have had some really complimentary comments in the chat, including every suburb needs one of these. You need to expand. It is such a necessary service and an integration of practice in the way that Chelsea was highlighting. Would you like to just say just some final words that you'd like the audience to take away? I know Sarah's looking at me, but we really just need to hear just your final reflections.
We agree. We know we're just a little point in a little tip in the iceberg, and we know there's so many more children there that will benefit from it, and we know it works, and we know that having the support in the right time makes a difference in their life and their experience at school. So if we can, we will do like everything we can to get more children, and it's definitely a pilot program that we see the results, and we all really passionate about it.
I imagine too, the child's mama would have thought you were a godsend.
We got some beautiful comments. It's really hard to close support. Let's put like that.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. We are moving now to a break. Once again, want to sponsor thank our wonderful sponsors, because it's with the support of our sector organisations through sponsorship, as well as a whole heap of other things that enable us to do this type of work. So thank you once again. Let's have a break, freshen up, have a coffee and a sandwich, and we'll be back a bit later. Thank you.